Ladies, gentlemen, and you beautiful in-betweens, hello and welcome to the Freelancer Audiobook. I'm Calmputer, and in this video I will narrate Edison Trent's in-game journal, or neural net log. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I have finally decided to leave Bretonia to try my luck in the border worlds. Despite what Tobias says, I can't sit around Leeds for the rest of my life and fix up other people's ships while more and more alien ruins are being discovered. They say that only 11% of the border worlds have been charted yet, and hundreds of unknown planets are awaiting discovery. I'm starting this personal neural net log to keep track of my travels and adventures. After 2 weeks of travel, I finally managed to get to the Sigma system cluster. The trip through independent worlds turned out to be much more dangerous than I thought. I was lucky several times that police patrols happened to be in the area when pirates wanted to blast me out of the stars. Anyway, word is that there are a number of uncharted systems in this area of space. I will try to find out more information. It's been 6 weeks since my last entry. Unfortunately, I couldn't find out anything about alien ruins or uncharted systems. Very frustrating. The only thing I've heard was that there's been sightings of strange ships near Sigma 17. Who knows? The good news is that I've managed to hook up with a captain of a Republican shipping convoy. He's transporting a large shipment of boron from Mainz to Honshu, but wants to keep the profits for himself. We agree to meet on Curile tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe luck is on my side this time. Well, I did the deal. I'm now the proud owner of over a ton of boron. I put all my savings into this deal. It's not entirely legal, but here in the border worlds, nobody really pays much attention to this. I've been in contact with a man named Lonergan. Apparently, he's a hired gun representing Samura Heavy Industries. He says his client might be interested in the shipment. I met Lonergan as planned on Curile yesterday, and we came to an agreement on the price. The plan is to meet on Freeport 7 tomorrow to seal the deal on the ore shipment. If everything works out, they'll owe me 1,000,000 credits. It's the deal of a lifetime. I still can't believe it. Lonergan and I had just signed the deal when the attack occurred. We barely made it out alive. From the time the alert started, we only had a few moments before the station blew up. Hundreds of people weren't so lucky. I actually had to carry Lonergan to the life pod because a bulkhead collapsed during the attack and hit him in the head. He's been unconscious ever since. The medics assure me he'll recover, and I certainly hope so. We're currently on a rescue ship en route to Manhattan, but things aren't looking so good. I lost my ship, and my ore shipment blew up with the rest of the station. All I have left is 500 credits, and that wouldn't even buy me a ticket back to Leeds on a waste disposal freighter. Well, after several days of travel, we finally arrived on Manhattan. It was about time. The rescue ship was everything but a pleasant experience. The other 8 survivors simply wouldn't stop talking about what had happened on Freeport 7. Speculations were running wild, and just about everybody was accused at one point or another. Some were convinced Chancellor Niemann was behind the attack, and others accused Governor Takagi. A Kruger rep assured me that Samura was the only possible group that had an interest in destroying Freeport 7. After a whole lot of useless debate, the majority seemed to agree in the end that the Order was behind it. Anyway, I have to say Manhattan is everything that Tobias made it out to be. A single giant city that covers almost the entire planet. They say that over 220 million people live here. Unbelievable. The medics just took Lonergan to intensive care in medical. They said it'll take a while until he's released. No matter how long it takes, I'll stay in Manhattan until he recovers. After all, we had signed the deal already. In the meantime, I should find a job. My 500 credits won't last long. Maybe there's someone in the bar who could give me a lead. Nice. After all I've been through, the bar here doesn't even carry a Sidewinder Fang. The bartender served me a Liberty Ale, and definitely the only one I'll ever drink. But after talking for a while, he gave me something else, which was at least decent. He also pointed me to a Liberty Security Force officer who might have a job for me. Her name is Junko Sane, and she's talking to some guy right now. I guess it's okay for me to interrupt and see if she has something for me. I talked to her. At first, she seemed pretty annoyed that I interrupted her conversation, but after she heard that I was on Freeport 7, she was a lot nicer. Seems like I could be in luck. She's looking for a freelancer right now and said that she'd be in the equipment room later. I also have to remember to call her Junie or Junko. I'll definitely look her up. It sounds promising. I took the job. Junie offered me an old surplus Starflyer and a few thousand credits. The ship is old and doesn't have jump gate access, but it's better than nothing. As long as I'm waiting for Lonergan to recover, I don't mind hanging around in the New York system for a while. The mission itself seems easy enough. Escort a convoy of food and medical supplies from Fort Bush to Pittsburgh. I don't really know where any of these places are, but she said the mission should be easy. I'm supposed to hook up with the mission CEO King in space above Manhattan. Junie said my ship will be moved to the launch pad. All I have to do is get ready and launch into space. Am I some sort of magnet for catastrophes? First Freeport 7 is destroyed while I'm on it. Now I launch from one of the safest places in the colonies, the capital of Liberty, and a visiting Rhineland dignitary gets killed. I'm really starting to wonder. I know that I was looking for excitement and adventure when I left Leeds, but this has been a bit much lately. Anyway, King says that duty calls and we have to rendezvous with the transports near Fort Bush. He's uploaded the coordinates of the first trade lane to my neural net. I guess it's time to get going. Everything's good so far. King and I are in formation with the transport convoy. Everybody here is pretty shaken about the attack on Schultzky. To top it all off, it seems the mission is quite a bit more dangerous than Junie made it out to be. The captain of the USV Brandt says that several convoys have come under attack en route to Pittsburgh in the last weeks. Liberty rogues are hiding in the debris field surrounding the planet and are attacking convoys to and from Pittsburgh. We have to be careful. That was everything but easy. I think I've been had. Turns out that the entire escort assignment to Pittsburgh was a covert operation by the LSF. The transport convoy was a ruse to draw the Liberty rogues out of hiding. Well, that certainly worked, and we barely made it out alive. King wants to go out again to search for a suspected rogue base somewhere in the debris field, and I signed up for the deal. I certainly don't want to sit around Pittsburgh. This has got to be one of the most desolate and sad places I've ever seen. King also promised that it would be worth it. He's waiting for me in space above Pittsburgh. King and I hooked up with the LSF Patrol Epsilon 2 near Pittsburgh and had just started our search pattern when prison ship XT-19 sent a mayday. We immediately changed course and found the prison ship badly damaged and under attack by rogue fighters. Good thing that we were in the area, or that prison ship almost certainly would have been history. Anyway, we managed to destroy the rogue ships. Patrol Epsilon 2 is staying here to protect XT-19 in case more rogues show up. King and I will continue the search for the hidden rogue base. The search pattern is in our neural net, and King told me to take the lead. After we left the prison ship, King and I flew along the edge of the debris field, heading towards our first search grid, when we received another mayday, this time from the LSF fighter Beta 4. The ship was being chased out of the debris field by several pirate fighters. We managed to fight off the rogues, not a minute too early since Beta 4 was badly damaged. The pilot told a story of how his wing was destroyed in a nearby particle cloud. King believes that they had stumbled upon the hidden rogue base. We have the coordinates, and King wants me to take the lead. This could get rough. We did it. The rogue base has been destroyed. Not to sound cocky, but we managed to hold off a small fleet of rogue ships, not to mention that we took out these vicious weapon platforms. King and I held them off until several LSF wings arrived and finished them off with torpedoes. Pretty impressive. Anyway, King has uploaded coordinates to Pittsburgh. It's time to head back. Great. I risk my life for the LSF to take out this rogue base here in New York, and then King doesn't even make good on the drink he promised me. Nice partner. Well, at least he transferred the money. I can't wait to upgrade this ship, or as King likes to call it, this pile of junk. At the very least, I want some better weapons. The rogues weren't that tough, but if I run into some stronger opposition, I need some better firepower. Junie called in and told me that President Jacoby has ordered a full investigation into the assassination of Admiral Chulsky. Not surprisingly, it looks like the order is behind it all. Junie said she'd have more work for me soon. In the meantime, she wants me to spread my wings and take a few missions here in New York. No kidding. Given that my ship doesn't have jump gate access, I couldn't get out of the system even if I wanted to. Besides, I'm definitely going to wait for Lonigan to recover. I want my money, damn it. Anyway, King told me that there should be a deep space rep on Pittsburgh that has a mission for me. We'll see. Taking on small jobs like that should keep me busy until Junie calls me back. It was about time. It's been a while since I heard from Junie, but she just called and asked me to meet her on Manhattan. It looks like she has another assignment for me. I wanted to return to Manhattan anyway, to check up on Lonigan. I made it back to Manhattan. No word yet from Lonigan. I've checked medical, but nobody there seems to know where he is. Nice bureaucracy. Anyway, I met Junie and King in the bar as planned and accepted their offer. It's an interesting assignment, and it actually pays well. The LSF is going after a smuggler, a guy named Ashcroft, who is transporting illegal alien artifacts in and out of Liberty. Junie has information that Ashcroft is trying to move a shipment of alien artifacts through the Colorado Gate. King and I have to find the convoy and stop it before it can enter the New York system. The tricky part is that we are supposed to bring Ashcroft in alive. The LSF wants to interrogate him about artifact trading in Liberty. President Jacoby has made it a top priority of the LSF to stop all artifact trading, legal and illegal, and to seize every artifact they can find. It's all a little bit strange, really. Usually, these things are just collectibles for people with way too much money. I don't think Jacoby has told the public the full story yet. The really good news about all of this is that Junie has promised to give me the access codes to all the Liberty gates if we bring in Ashcroft. I ran into Lonigan on the landing pad. He was in pretty bad shape. Apparently he actually escaped from medical. No wonder I couldn't find him before. That head injury must have been worse than I thought. He was totally confused, talked about people that were after him, and said that he knew who destroyed Freeport 7, something about ships that weren't there. Just a bunch of gibberish. I seriously thought he had lost his mind when suddenly 2 Liberty guards appeared and shot him with a smart dart. I had to dive out of the way or that thing would have hit me. Anyway, Lonigan went down and I was still on the ground when one of the guards hit me with the stun baton. Not a pleasant feeling. It knocked me out in an instant. I have no idea how long I was out. The next thing I remember is Junie slapping me in the face. Looks like Lonigan got himself into trouble with the local law. I'm starting to have a feeling that I'm never going to see my million credits. Oh, Tobias is going to have a field day. Looks like I'm going to have to work for Junie a while longer. I certainly need the money. Anyway, King is waiting for me in space above Manhattan. We made it to the Colorado system. In response to the attack on Chulsky, the Navy has moved heavy battleships to all jump gates. I have to say, pretty impressive. We're waiting for an update on the situation from Junie. Junie just called in. Looks like Ashcroft is coming directly our way. His convoy has entered the Colorado system and the LSF has set up a trap near Pueblo Station. King and I have to scan every ship that comes through the trade lane to make sure that none of Ashcroft's people get away. Well, we scanned all the ships that came through the trade lane as ordered. Unfortunately, we got the wrong guy. We found a ship transporting illegal artifacts, and when King ordered the ship to stand down, he attacked. We thought it was one of Ashcroft's men, but it turns out that we took down a guy named Cosmo Van Nostrum, a real pain. Anyway, just as King started to read him his rights, Junie called. The trap that the LSF has set near Pueblo failed. Seems that Ashcroft managed to break through the blockade. Contact with Pueblo is lost. Junie wants us to fly there as fast as possible. That was close. Pueblo was under attack by at least half a dozen of Ashcroft's men. The station was burning and started to lose life support. They were lucky that we were so close. But even though Ashcroft got away, we might be in luck. The station managed to put a tracking device on one of Ashcroft's ships. We have a signal, and this time he won't get away. We surprised Ashcroft while his people were unloading the artifacts into smaller ships. It's a good thing that Junie sent us support, otherwise this could have been too much for us. We managed to destroy most of Ashcroft's fighters, but Ashcroft himself got away. He's activated his cruise engines and headed deeper into the field. Thankfully, King tagged him. We'll have to hurry or he'll get away. Wow, that Ashcroft has a lot of friends. We chased him into the field and he suddenly dropped out of cruise. I thought he was trying to get away by taking a jump hole, but it turns out that a whole bunch of his thugs were ready to take us down. In the end, we chased them off and I have Ashcroft securely in my cargo hold. I expected this assignment to be harder than the one near Pittsburgh, but I had no idea how well equipped these artifact smugglers are. It's time to fly back to New York and deliver this guy to Junie. King uploaded the coordinates to the Colorado Gate. Time to get going. We're back in New York. No more attacks, thank God. King told me an interesting story on the way. It seems like a Rhineland archaeological expedition found an entire planet full of artifacts recently. And here's the kick. They seem to be active. Ever since then, Liberty has tried to shut down the artifact trade. I just can't believe this. While I'm trading boron, the Rhinelanders make the find of the century. What I would give to get my hands on one of these artifacts. That was the very reason I left Leeds in the first place. Well, I hope the information the LSF is getting out of Ashcroft makes all of this worthwhile. King and I were attacked in the middle of the New York system by more of Ashcroft's men. I had no idea how powerful these artifact traders really are, and I bet the public in Liberty has no idea either. In any event, I delivered Ashcroft to Junie and she will try to squeeze information out of him. The good news is that I now have the access codes for all of the Liberty jump gates. This allows me to jump to Texas and California. Should be interesting since I've never been to either of these systems. I also got an extra bonus. Not bad at all. Maybe I can buy a new ship. The fighter that King is flying looks nice. And if that turns out to be too expensive, I could certainly use some better equipment and weapons. Junie said she would be on assignment for a while, but that she would need me again soon. I'll be waiting. For now, I can spend some time checking out the rest of Liberty Space until she calls me again. Finally, looks like Junie is back from her assignment. She asked me to meet her on Manhattan. This is just great. I flew to Manhattan to meet Junie and also to see if I could find Lonergan. Well, I didn't have to. He found me and held a gun to my head. That guy has seriously lost his mind. He told me that he killed a man today. He was still totally paranoid, babbled something about Freeport 7 and Zone 21. I told him that I knew that the Order was behind it, but he seems to think that it was Liberty. He says it has something to do with artifacts. Lonergan said he wanted to warn me to get out of Liberty. I don't know. He was different this time, seemed focused and determined. Not at all the man who was confused just a few days ago. After this pleasant encounter, I went to the bar to meet Junie, and guess what? She wasn't there. This whole trip to Manhattan is turning into a disaster. Well, at least she left a message with the bartender for me. I'm supposed to meet her on the terraforming station on California Minor. I asked the bartender. The California system is only one jump away from the New York system. All I have to do is take the jump gate to California. According to the bartender, there are trade lanes all the way to California Minor. He's uploaded the path to my neural net. Well, at least Junie had the decency to call me. She seems to need me for an assignment. Apparently Ashcroft's interrogation was a success and yielded the information Junie and the LSF were looking for. I'm somewhat interested in what the thug has to say. When I'm in the mood, I'll look her up on California Miner. Things are really beginning to freak me out. I finally decided to meet Junie and just came out of the jump gate in California when I was stopped by a guy named Brandon Rowlett or something. He said he was with me on Freeport 7 and on the rescue ship. I don't really remember him, but I think I know who this is, or rather, was. The guy was pretty freaked out and told me that some survivors from Freeport 7 had disappeared. He wanted to meet me on Los Angeles, but just as we wanted to fly off, a Navy patrol came through the trail lane and shot him in cold blood. As the Navy ships flew off, they sent me a comm to keep this quiet. What the heck is going on? I guess I'll keep it quiet. I don't want to end up like Rowlett did. I met Junie on California Miner, and wow, this place is basically a huge ice desert. Why anyone would want to settle here is a mystery to me. This has to be the worst bar in all of Liberty. Junie has less class than I thought. Her mission was interesting. Ashcroft claims that there is a traitor in the ranks of the LSF. Junie and I are to escort a convoy carrying alien artifacts from the Magellan system to a secret Navy research lab here in California. Only a few people know about the convoy and its cargo. If we are attacked, it would prove that there really is a traitor within the LSF or the Navy helping the artifact smugglers. And just as we were about to leave, the news showed a breaking story that the leader of the order had been killed. Guess what? They think it was Lonergan. That's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. He was a traitor, and not even a good one. He didn't plan the attack on Freeport 7, but he almost got killed in the blast. I tried to tell Junie, but she wouldn't listen. I have to say that Rowlett was right about Freeport 7 survivors disappearing, and most of them violently. I have to be careful. As long as I work for the LSF, I should be pretty safe. I have to get going. Junie is waiting for me in space, and given how moody she is, I better not let her wait too long. We have reached the transports just before they entered the Barrera Passage. The passage was built by the Navy Corps of Engineers and is basically a tube-shaped clearing through the dense ice asteroid field. Junie says that if there is an attack, it'll be inside the passage. We have to stay sharp. So much has happened since my last entry. To say that we were attacked is an understatement. These artifact smugglers seem to have a sheer endless supply of ships. We must have fought off 20 or more fighters in the passage, and we were lucky that San Diego dispatched a fighter wing to help us, or we probably wouldn't be here in one piece. If anyone needed proof that there's a traitor somewhere in the LSF or Navy, I think we now have ample evidence. Junie landed on Willard to contact her superior. She says we have to fly back to California Miner. What in the world is going on? After we left Station Willard, Junie told me that her CO has been placed under arrest for treason, and that all of her friends at the LSF have somehow disappeared. She didn't have an explanation, but maybe that traitor we were trying to weed out wasn't alone? And then, on our way back to California Miner, we were attacked by Rhineland Valkyries. I mean, what the hell are Rhineland ships doing in the middle of Liberty space? Seems to me that there is a conspiracy going on, and that it's much more serious than we thought. Junie wants to meet a guy named Walker on California Miner. He's the captain of a Liberty cruiser. Junie says that we can trust him and that she knows him from the past. I hope she's right. We met Walker on California Miner. He's a typical stiff military officer, but he seems okay. He even offered me a job with the Liberty Navy. If I ever take a job with these guys, I might as well admit to myself that my dreams of a life filled with adventure and discovery are over. Anyway, he promised to help us hunt down the artifact smugglers here in California. The plan is to start our search near Station Willard and to take it from there. We'll see if Walker can be trusted. Right as we left the planet, King called in. He confirmed that Junie's CO is in prison. He also told us that there's been a major shakeup in the ranks of the LSF. He seemed worried. But that's not the last of it. As we entered formation with Walker's cruisers, He contacted us on a secure channel to tell us that Navy High Command ordered his group back to space dock for inspection. He seemed very suspicious, since his ships had been to space dock just 2 months ago. Suddenly, we picked up a mayday from Station Willard. Walker decided to disregard High Command and order his group to head to the station. We have to hurry. The station reports that it is taking heavy damage. That must have been the biggest battle since the 80 Years' War. Station Willard was under attack by several Rhineland gunboats and dozens of fighters. The station took heavy damage, and we barely managed to fight them off. There is general confusion as to what is going on, and Walker and Junie are going to meet on the station to try to figure out what's going on. Junie wants me to take a few jobs and to keep my head down. She promised to contact me once she knows more. Finally, Junie called in. I was starting to get worried about her. She seemed concerned, almost frightened. I'm supposed to meet her on Manhattan. I should probably get there quickly and see what's going on. I've never seen Junie like this. She's scared. No other word to describe it. She flew back to New York to ask Ashcroft what Rhineland ships have to do with the artifact trade in Liberty. But when she got to the battleship where he was being held, she learned that all records of his arrest had been wiped clean. But that's not the worst of it. Walker's also disappeared. Official records show that his ship was lost 5 years ago. Something is terribly wrong here in Liberty. Junie thinks our best shot is to look for Walker in California, and given that all other people I know here in Liberty are either dead or have disappeared, that sounds like our best option. Junie went back to the equipment room to take care of some business when I was cornered on the landing deck by a suspicious-looking guy. He told me that he and I were the last 2 survivors of Freeport 7. I vaguely remember him from the rescue ship. He told me that the station was blown to pieces because people were looking for an artifact that he has in his possession. Just as he showed me the piece, a Navy officer appeared and shot him point blank. I was almost next, but Junie came back just in time. She told him to take me into custody, but he turned on her and opened fire. She was faster. But now we're really in trouble. Murder of a military officer is a capital offense here in Liberty, and I doubt they'll buy it was self-defense. We have to get out of here, fast, while there's still time. Junie says she knows a place to hide. What the hell was all that about? That had to be at least half the Liberty war machine. King tells me that my name suddenly showed up on top of the Navy's most wanted list. I mean, what the hell? I'm wanted for murder, artifact smuggling, treason, the destruction of Freeport 7, terrorism, and now we're here with some old guy Junie knows. I should never have come to Liberty. Thank God Walker showed up, though. I don't think we could have made it out of that hellhole without him. 3 cruisers and a full escort wing, just for a single one-man station. Junie seems to be holding together all right, but I don't know how much longer we can hold out like this. Jeez, even the bounty hunters are coming at us in full force. We just can't win, and everything keeps getting more and more confusing. We're in it deep. Now we're on a lane hacker base, of all things. I think we're on the edge of Bretonian space. Maybe being a grease monkey wasn't such a bad idea. Rhinelanders? What the hell was all that about? What do they have to do with anything? Could it be that all of this is happening because of this damn artifact? I don't know. All I know is that home in Leeds is just past the cloud. I'm sure Tobias will love this story. Well, Tobias set me up with a good chunk of money for a new ship and pointed me towards the new London ship dealer. Still, I haven't been home in a while, and all that money is burning a hole in my pocket. After all that, I could use a drink. Looks like Junie finally found something. She sent me a message to meet her on Cambridge. Never liked going there, just a bunch of stuffy bookworms. She says she has a lead on Professor Quintain. I better get going. The less time I spend in Bretonia, the better. Well, I flew all the way to Cambridge to hook up with Junie. I know she's trying to keep a low profile, and that sometimes means blending into public places, but geez, I mean, we always seem to meet in bars. And no surprise, the professor has disappeared. It feels like a curse. Anyone we're trying to find either dies, is on the run, or magically disappears. In this case, however, Junie found a trail that might give us a chance to find Quintain. A guy named Vance. He's a pilot that used to help Quintain get to the various archaeological dig sites throughout the border worlds. He's not too smart and way too much in love with the bottle to be totally reliable, but he seems trustworthy. Junie had told him that we're working for the Hammer Research Institute in Liberty and that we were interested in funding some of the professor's research. That certainly opened some doors. Vance told us that the professor sometimes disappears for weeks without telling anyone. That's good news. He might still be alive. Vance pointed us to Dr. Sinclair, who has been working closely with Quintain for years. She's working on a dig site on planet Sprague, not too far from here in the Omega-3 system. Then, at the very end of the conversation, Vance told us that a group of Rhinelanders also came by today looking for the professor. They claimed to be from the New Berlin Museum. Fat chance. We have to hurry. If they get to Sinclair before we do, it's over. Junie is waiting in space above Cambridge. I rendezvoused with Junie above Cambridge. She has already plotted the course to Sprague. It's not very far. We'll have to take the trade lane from here to the Norfolk, and from there to the Omega-3 system. Once there, the quickest way is to fly to Freeport 1 and cut over to Sprague from there. The planet lies beyond the trade routes and is a bit remote, but overall the trip doesn't seem too bad. The only issues are these damned Rhinelanders. Hopefully, we can find the professor first. We just passed the Norfolk. Sounds like the conflict between Bretonia and Rhineland is escalating. We have to be careful. The Norfolk says that no Rhineland ship has been seen in Omega-3 yet. Maybe we'll be lucky. We're in Omega-3 and just past Freeport 1. It's really starting to look like a military confrontation between Bretonia and Rhineland is becoming more and more likely. The Chancellor has ordered the Rhineland military to set up blockades in the Omega-7 system, and no foreign merchant ships are allowed into Rhineland space anymore. We're continuing on to Sprague. No sight of any Rhinelanders yet. What the hell? These Rhineland ships came out of nowhere. Just as we were approaching Sprague, a number of them just uncloaked directly in front of us. We managed to destroy them, but it was close. I hope they didn't get to Sinclair before we did. We have to land as quickly as possible. We found Sinclair, but just as we talked to her, the Rhinelanders attacked the dig site. How do they know where we are all the time? A good part of that blockade must have been waiting for us. They blew up the docking ring on the way out. Sinclair says she knows a place nearby. This is gonna be close. I don't know how we got out of there alive. I'll give the Rhinelanders one thing. They're persistent. Annoying, but persistent. As always, another station I set foot on blows up. I'm really beginning to hate space. But I'm not about to die out here in the middle of nowhere. If I'm going down, I'm taking a few of these guys with me. For a scientist, Sinclair is a damn good pilot, but she's a sad judge of character. So, 2 Rhineland defectors just happened to cross our path and are kind enough to just show us the way out. Right. Why am I always the only one who picks up on this stuff? We just about got killed a few minutes ago by these guys, and we're all of a sudden following them around? The battleship Wotan. I've heard stories about it, but I've never seen it in person. Rhineland is being more than bold, bringing heavy capital ships this close to Bretonia and awfully close to home. I didn't believe those 2 defectors at first, but after watching them take out that battleship, I'm guessing things aren't exactly picture perfect in the fatherland. Well, time to get back to Leeds. I bet Tobias can't wait to see what followed me home this time. Leeds. Home sweet home. At least I know that no matter how bad things get, I can always come back to this bustling brown haven. And at least we have a solid lead now, which I'm sure will send us right back into the fire. Well, at least I can breathe for a little and run around the old stomping grounds a bit. Tobias seemed enthralled with my new friends. He really hasn't changed one bit. Great. Just great. Junie's got me on this wild goose chase for some guy named Dexter Hovis out in the middle of the Dublin system. I bet he's out on that abandoned battleship. Nothing but scum and gamblers out there. I think they were building some kind of racetrack out there too. Maybe I'll place a few down. Seeing as I still haven't been paid yet, I hope all of this gets us closer to finding out what that artifact is all about. Well, I was right about the track, and I was right about the gambling. The only thing I didn't see coming was that I'd be the main attraction. Wonderful. At least this'll be easier than being shot at by Rhinelanders constantly. Apparently, you can't place bets on yourself. Damn it. I'm never gonna get paid. That bastard cheated. Lucky for him, I've got better things to do than beat old backwoods freaks like him back where they came from. Alright, Quintain is supposed to be over on this old abandoned station, the Glorious, not too far from here. Hovis had better be right about this, or I'm turning around and heading straight back. I've had to deal with way too much to deal with some backwater idiot like him. I don't know what's worse. These Rhineland guys who chased me to hell and back, or this old fart Quintain. I'm trying to save him, and he dares try to space me? Well, at least maybe now we can answer a few questions. Still, I'm glad I'm not in the same ship as him. This entire trip has been nothing but one irritation after another. This Rhineland bit is getting old already. I've heard rumors that the Queen Mother is about ready to take up arms against Rhineland. Good. I'm tired of seeing them all over my backyard. You'd think in my own home system I'd be a little safer, but these guys just keep showing up. It's because of things like this that I left to begin with. Still, if all of this goes up in flames, I'll never be able to find a good drink again. Finally, I can get off this hunk of smoking rock and out of this stinking brown system. Junie needs me to help get Quintain and Sinclair out of Bretonia. Every time that guy opens his big mouth, I want to stick my fist in it. If this is the best and brightest the colonies have to offer, we're all doomed. I have to wonder, the last time I left Leeds, I managed to piss off an entire government. I hope I can come back again one day. Those bastards. They were right on my front door this time. I'm getting tired of this cat and mouse game. Why does everyone want this stupid rock so bad? And how did they get that deep into Bretonia? No matter where we go, there they are. It's funny. I always thought that all of Tobias' boasting about his days in the Royal Space Force was just that, boasting. But I'm sure glad he showed up. I owe him a lot, actually. One of these days, I'm coming back here and repaying him for everything he's done for me. Damn, Rhinelanders are persistent. How are they blocking us in every direction? In any case, we managed to get out of this mess, and we're one step closer to... Where are we going anyway? Shinden, Shinagawa... Shinkaku, that's it. We're supposed to meet some guy named Cress. I hope whoever he is, he can get Quintain and Sinclair out of my hair. Dealing with Junie is about all I can take as it is. I was hoping Cress was there to take this old fart away. Oh well. It's not too far from here. A small price to pay to keep from embedding my foot in his head. Tobias is going back home. I hope he doesn't do some damn fool thing like re-enlist. Well, at least I won't have too much to worry about. He'll probably do something like hit on a higher-ranked female officer. I get the impression there weren't any female pilots in his days. Well, that's Tobias, though. Hope he's going to be all right. Well, off to Cress Base. First, we have to go through this giant methane field into a giant open area of space where, surprise, surprise, a Rhineland fleet awaits us. This is not what I signed up for. Protecting the old windbag is hard enough. Having to take on an entire fleet is not my idea of fun. It's more like suicide. Crestmen showed up, but they didn't really help much. What good are scrub fighters against capital ships? Well, at least we got out of there alive. Maybe now I can finally dump this guy. Methane. Who pronounces it like that? It's methane. If this is the best scientific mind the universe has to offer, we're all in a lot of trouble. If anyone gets to shoot Quintain, it's gonna be me, not some damned lackey. I've already been shot at, electrocuted, and nearly bombed to death. A good old standoff isn't gonna shake me. Well, at least Quintain is out of my hair. At least Sinclair was easy on the eyes. Well, on to Kyushu to meet Lord Hakira. I've actually never been to Kusari before. I'm very curious to see what it's like. So that was Lord Hakira. There's an air about that man. I don't know, he's very commanding. Anyways, Junie seems to know him, not that that saved us in the past. Hopefully her home system will provide better protection than Bretonia. I guess I'll do some sightseeing and take up a few jobs while I'm here. It's not often I get to be a tourist. There's something different about the people Junie knows in this system. They're so strong in their convictions. Kinda makes me forget about more trivial things. That reminds me, I still haven't gotten paid. Well, in any case, we're off to intercept some transport with one of the heads of the Kusari government, Governor Takagi, on board. I've read about this guy in the news. I thought he was working for peace, but if there's anything I've learned, it's that things aren't always as they seem. We ended up taking this really backwards way to Honshu, mostly due to the fact that we had to join up with a blood dragon wing. I've heard about these guys before. They're this weird type of good pirate that roams through Kusari. People say they're the best pilots anywhere in the colonies. That doesn't help explain Junie's piloting abilities. Well, we still have one more leg on this journey. We have to get that transport out of impound and get it to the blood dragon home, the legendary Kyoto base. We got the transport. That wasn't too hard, but I think that's due in part to Ozu. I've never seen anything so surgical before. Ozu's men knew exactly what to do. It was almost poetic. No wonder these guys are known as legends. Takagi wasn't on board, and neither was the tome. Ozu seems unfazed by all of this, and I don't know how. I guess this all just comes naturally to him. I can see why everyone around here reveres him so much. So this is the legendary Kyoto base. I guess I'll take some jobs and earn some scratch while Ozu and the Blood Dragons come up with another way to find the tome. This place isn't much to look at, but they've got some great equipment here, and I can certainly get used to the way they dress. Great, we're going into a heavily defended fortress to retrieve a scroll of all things. Normally this kind of thing would bother me, but there's something about the blood dragons that makes you want to try, if not for you, for everyone else. Maybe this constant hell I've been through in the last few weeks is changing me, or maybe it's just a sense of determination around here. Junie seemed rather angry that we didn't tell her we were leaving. There was a different sound in her voice, though. She sounded kind of disappointed. In any case, I leave this mission in Ozu's hands. He's the first person I've trusted in a long time not to screw things up. We're supposed to meet several wings of blood dragons along the way. That worries me. Just a few of these guys could take out a fleet. What kind of defenses are there that require several wings of blood dragons? Things are starting to heat up. Takagi's men are easily just as good as the blood dragons, and they're coming in equal numbers. No wonder Ozu joined up with so many wings. We had to take out the energy generators on the shield to get into this thing. The way I understand it, it used to be one of the wonders of Kusari. Now it's a fortress. What the hell was that? That thing killed Ozu in cold blood. What is going on here? This was supposed to be a simple little mission. Then that fat man's eyes started glowing. Excellent. All this way to see Ozu die. I wouldn't even have made it out if it wasn't for Lord Hakira. How did he get that ship in here anyway? No time to mourn. Gotta get out of here before something else shows up intent on killing us. Ozu, Sensei, sayonara. Junie ended up meeting us along the way, but so did a few Rhinelanders. These guys just don't quit. A few moments and torpedoes later, and it was over. Junie seemed very saddened by Ozu's death. I could tell from the tone in her voice. Anyway, Hakira and the remaining blood dragons are taking us back to Kyoto so we can regroup. All this is just getting to be too much. This isn't what I signed up for. I kind of snapped at Hakira when we landed. So many people have died, and it seemed like this constant hunt Rhineland has for us is never going to end. I really wasn't expecting all of this when I first met Junie on Manhattan. I just wanted to make some cash and explore the galaxy. Now I'm some kind of freedom fighter. I'd give anything to have Freeport 7 back and for Lonergan to have just given me my money. It seems like war is breaking out everywhere, though, and I guess if I wasn't here, things would be just as bad everywhere else. I better take on a few missions and load up. I'm willing to bet things are about to go to hell. After everything that's happened, I don't know what to make of things anymore. Junie asked me to meet her back on Kyoto. Apparently, Lord Hakira needs me for a job that only I can do. I can only assume that this will translate into being shot at a lot. I can't say no to Hakira. He saved my life back at the Arch, and I have to return the favor. Still, into the heart of Rhineland. This mission is suicide, but I guess I've earned myself quite the reputation for blindly accepting just about anything, no matter how suicidal. I better get to the equipment room before launching into space. Who knows what kind of trouble I'll run into. Lord Hakira was good enough to escort me to Sigma 13, along with a full honor guard. He's got a new second command, Kobo. Good enough kid. Young, though. Also, I didn't know him that long, but at least he went down fighting. I hope he's happier wherever he is. In any case, I better get my head out of the clouds and back in the cockpit. Rumor has it that Rhineland has begun amassing ships in this system in preparation for war. Part of the reason I'm even getting an honor guard is so they can strike them before they get a chance to gain a foothold. Remarkable. Even though they're outcasts from Kusari society, the Blood Dragons still defend their home. Insane. That's all that was. I've always heard about the legendary Blood Dragon pilots, and I even got to fly with them at Takagi's Arch, but I've never seen anything like Takagi's honor. Not only did they fend off the fleet, but they also took down one of those monstrous Rhineland battleships. I wish I could have stayed to help, but Rhineland was only a short flight away. We had to fly through this old abandoned graveyard of ships left over from the 80 Years' War. Eerie. I hope getting von Clausen will prevent more of these from showing up. Who were those two idiots? I've never been so creeped out in my life, and after that bit with Takagi, I thought I was prepared for anything. Well, at least it gave me a lead. Why is it whenever I'm told to meet someone somewhere, they're never there? It just makes things harder. Well, I'll say one thing about New Berlin. They've got a pretty well-stocked bar. I'll have to remember to come back one day if all of this madness ever calms down. It seems Herr von Clausen's intelligence networks are more extensive than I thought. He had this man, Hans Fischer, accompany me to Holstein. Good thing, too. Somehow, I doubt Rhineland would have appreciated a wanted man wandering through their systems. The military buildup here is immense, like nothing I've ever seen. The war is really going to happen. For the first time, I have to say I'm a little scared. Still, it'd be nice to have at least a few credits in the bank for later in life, assuming there is a later in life. Now I remember. Herr von Clausen, ace pilot and tactician of the Rhineland military, over 500 kills, and he never lost an escort or wingman. I remember reading stories about him, but never in a million years did I think I'd ever be flying with him. I'm actually rather surprised he defected. I always thought he fought for his country. But I guess some things go beyond country and homeland. In any case, he wants to meet up with a Rhineland rebel group located not too far from here. And who am I to say no? Thankfully, Rhineland has spread itself so thin that it can't properly maintain its local patrols. That little scuffle on the way in could have been worse. Von Clausen's intelligence networks have managed to pull up data on the amassing of a secret fleet not too far from here. Finally, after weeks of getting chased around by these Rhinelanders, I get to hit them where it hurts. I really can't wait. Better go stock up. It's payback time. Only von Clausen and I made it. The rest all died. It was a massacre. Capital ships everywhere. Botzler's wing didn't know what to do. They weren't as experienced as von Clausen or Botzler, and they weren't nearly as skilled as Hakura's honor guard. They died protecting a home they'll never see again. Botzler did it all. He took out the entire dry dock by himself. So many people have died. Then, to add insult to injury, the flagship of the South Rhineland fleet decloaked right in front of our noses. Thankfully, Hakura showed up out of nowhere in this ship I've never seen before. Far be it from me to look a gift horse in the mouth. Turns out, it's owned by the Order and commanded by Aurelian. Quite an impressive man, and a far stretch from that idiot Lonergan they accused as being Aurelian. We don't have a lot of time left, and now that von Clausen is safe and sound, I think I'll treat myself to a drink. Where is the bar in this place anyway? It's ironic that after washing ashore in Liberty after Freeport 7 was destroyed, now, so much later, I'm going back. This time, it's not the cozy Manhattan bar. It's the darkest hole Liberty has to offer. But we have a mission now. We are to save the President. Again, very ironic since she is the reason we've been hunted from the start. Well, that's just another ironic twist of fate, and this is where it all comes together. It's not about money, it's not about the artifact. The stakes are higher now, and I've got a job to do. I can't believe I'm back here in New York. And with Walker, no less. What the hell did he have to do to stay alive? It's unbelievable. So much has happened since the last time we worked together. Didn't he once say something about fighting for a cause? Okay, here I am. Let's get to it. An intrasystem jump hole. What a ride. Taking out the satellite wasn't too much of a problem, but Liberty has definitely increased its security from the last time I was here. The entrance to Zone 21 was a little more difficult. I can't say I didn't expect that, but we've come this far. We're committed. Aurelian's last words concern me, though. Rescue or terminate. Does this mean we may have to execute the President if she's too far gone? I don't know how to react to that yet. Whatever. It looks like we're going to get the President one way or another. I can't even comment on what I have been a witness to. The President is fine, meaning she's still human, and we have her now. I saw it. I saw what was inside the Chancellor. It was horrible. I hesitated. I admit it. It was so far-fetched until I saw it for myself. Right there in the present cell. I saw it. I saw true evil. I won't hesitate again. Ozu was a brave man. For a long time, I thought I could have saved him. No, I couldn't. Ozu died doing what he had to. What I saw today drove this home. Walker and his entire crew sacrificed themselves so we could get the President back to the Osiris. I couldn't have helped him any more than I could have helped Ozu. As Hakura said, he knew the risks. I am thankful for Walker's bravery and, briefly, his comradeship. We would not have made it without him and his crew. I should have stayed on Leeds. Now they want me to fly into some nomad base that will more than likely require me getting shot at by various ships I've never seen before. Once I get there, I have to tractor in some power cell to activate the stupid purple rock and then get out before it does something silly like explode. Excellent. Aurelian says that the structure is more than likely abandoned. After everything that's happened, I'll be really surprised if it actually is. It's beautiful. It's like nothing I've ever seen. Still, we've got to hurry. I'll have a better chance against those nomad fighters than I will against the radiation in here. So the artifact turns out to be a giant system map. I have one of those on my ship. Good for nothing bald-headed windbag. Maybe I'm missing something. In any case, this base is incredibly impressive. The best ships and the best weapons I've ever seen. I'm getting that sinking feeling in my stomach about all of this. Like this is the ride into the sunset the hero makes. Or maybe that heroic last stand. In any case, I'm taking up Aurelian's offer and stocking up on all the weapons and equipment I can. Seems like that hole that got sealed up to Omicron Beta only slowed them down. The nomads bombed the base into ashes. Aurelian had called us down to pick up the artifact. This thing is supposed to stop all those damn blue bastards floating around in space right now. It's like a boiling cauldron of lasers and ships out there, and we're going right back into it. Those nomad battleships were a lot easier to take down when they were in dry dock. Things are getting hot now, and we're heading straight into the demon's maw. I'm tired. I'm tired of running away. I'm tired of being chased. It's time to end all of this. I'm taking this stupid purple rock and shoving it straight down their throats. I'll give them one thing. They don't build things small. As big as the jump gate was that brought us here, this thing is even bigger. Quintain called it a Dyson sphere. Now we just have to find a way inside. Everyone in this fight owes the nomads something. Revenge or a cry for freedom. No matter what, we've got to win. When did I get so damn patriotic? Must be all this space bacteria I keep seeing. Oh my god. It's amazing. I have to take out those generators. There's a shield around a city the size of a small planet. If we can get that shield down, I can shove this Tinker Toy right into their stomachs. We managed to make it out of there after all. The nomads all got sucked away into some kind of wormhole above the nomad city. Aurelian and the Order intend on keeping a close eye on it. They've even asked me to be their contact in Liberty. Hakera has gone back to Kusari to rebuild. Tobias ended up getting kicked out of the Bretonia Royal Space Force, just like I thought he would, but I think he got a girlfriend or something out of it. Von Clausen was nowhere to be found after the fight. He's presumed dead, but somehow I doubt that. A man like von Clausen doesn't just fade away. President Jacobi gave Junie, King, and I a full pardon. We even got a medal, the Lone Star. Sounds kind of goofy, doesn't it? Anyway, as much as I appreciate that, it doesn't make up for the fact that I never got paid. Just my luck. I'm a hero, but I'm back to freelancing. In the end, maybe that's not all that bad. There are still lots of worlds to discover and systems to explore. I don't think I'm ready to call Liberty home yet. A not insignificant reason for that is that I don't think I'll ever get used to Liberty Ale.